Does anybody remember that Firey won Battle for Dream Island? He's also been in every Battle for Dream Island season, so that's fun to know. I was aware of his win but didn't think much about it, mostly because I've heard absolutely nothing about it since the era in which Firey won is so far in the past that even if you watched the show back in 2012 you would have barely remembered it. The case with the other two finalists is much more active. They both had important roles in the storyline and were very observable characters since they did so much. Contrary to popular belief, I don't actually hate Leafy and Bubble. I know I was insanely harsh to them in those videos, but they're fictional characters. How bad can they be? They both had a very compelling vibe, and the concept for both of them managed to stay relatively fresh despite the issues they might have faced along the way. I can understand why someone would despise both of them, but let's be serious here. Worse Battle for Dream Island characters exist. Cough, cough, cough. On the other side of this whole situation, Firey has just been doing nothing. So let's explore how doing nothing secured him a win in Battle for Dream Island Season 1. It's been a while, but I've been up to all sorts of stuff. While I was gone, I posted some new videos on my bonus channel. I worked on this video that you're watching right now, which took me way longer than expected, and I hit 11,000 subscribers. Oops. Thank you all so much for the support on my last two uploads. And the support of course is coming from this 3-part series that I'm making about the 3 most high-profile people in the dumpster fire, that is the Battle for Dream Island finale. The first video was about Bubble and how she literally faked her entire existence. The second video was about Leafy and how she managed to destroy her reputation while she tried to destroy Battle for Dream Island's reputation. And this video is about Firey, who is nowhere near as bad as the other two, but in my opinion, even more interesting. Firey is one of the least popular Battle for Dream Island characters. If you disagree, tell me one thing he's done in the past season to look good in front of the viewers. Got nothing. Exactly. But why does anybody even care in the first place? Basically, Firey has nothing to do with the storyline, yet he has everything to do with the storyline in the show, where everyone is known for having their own character storylines and have tons of arcs specific to themselves. Firey is in multiple arcs, and none of them have any relation to himself specifically. It's weird, because if you take one of Firey's actions in a storyline and replace it with any other character, Battle for Dream Island would continue perfectly fine. And honestly, that's probably what makes him so crucial. The show needs a backup character to pull everything off, and maybe that's why he's involved in so many different arcs. You may be thinking, okay, he's involved in a lot of character arcs, and everyone hates him. I don't get why he's different from any Battle for Dream Island character ever. He's really not, but over the past few years, if you look at his involvement with the series, you can realize that something weird is happening. For starters, he's losing fans at a rapid rate. Even if he is gaining fans, you won't be able to notice because there's more people hating than coming back to like him. As you can tell, something happened in his past at some point. All of this weirdness is stemming from a controversy with another Battle for Dream Island character. 11 years ago, on January 1st, 2012, Firey made the worst decision of his life. The decision that would cause him a decade of misery and defeat. The decision that proved he was nothing more than a backup character. The decision that cost him Dream Island. Firey denied Leafy the right to enter Dream Island. He let everyone on but Leafy, and this is why he did that. Basically, what happened was that as Battle for Dream Island continued on, Firey saw right through Leafy's persona and made it his job to make sure that everyone knew the truth. It was very quickly revealed that Leafy wasn't a nice person, after all, and I talk about her effort to console her reputation in the second video. But the point is that people started putting the pieces together and realized that Firey is actually kind of horrible too. The only problem was that Firey didn't do anything to console his reputation when Leafy did. Another reason why this whole controversy was such a big deal was that both Firey and Leafy were finalists in the original Battle for Dream Island season, which you can pretty much cite as the reason both of them were making it their life's mission to bring the other person down, with the combination of Firey and Leafy both conspiring to take each other down and them being the highlight of the entire show. It turned out to not be a good look for both of them at the end. And when Firey just basically said bye and left the scene for 5 years, he pretty much lost everything. Firey started to lose favor because he was the only one who had done something so drastic publicly, so people had less clear evidence to hate Leafy for. Leafy let Firey take the fall for the entire situation and publicly distanced herself from him, very clearly giving him all of the blame. Firey's reputation was in shambles, so guess what he does? He obviously clears everything up within the series and calms everything down, right? No, he does nothing. Understandably, he wasn't happy about losing the fight against Leafy, but all he did was distance himself from Leafy until the 4th season, but we'll get to that later. Ultimately, I find the responses they took to everything a mixed bag because it had everything I hate from Battle for Dream Island characters, but I do feel like it was unjustified to make Firey take all of the blame for the fight to win Battle for Dream Island. You win some, you lose some, right? Although, Firey did nothing to survive in the 2nd season onwards, when he easily could have, which makes it a little bit hard for me to sympathize for him. I've talked about what happened in this whole controversy, but now I want to talk about how it happened. I have opinions on what both of them did and how everyone reacted. I want to start by looking at why what happened was so effective in taking down not only Leafy's, but both of their reputations as BFDI's golden duo. The short answer is that the decision he took impacted the show's storyline tenfold. The long answer? First, let's take a look at motivations. There were obvious reasons both characters would want to sabotage each other, one being that the season was wrapping up and the vote to win voting was very close, so both characters had final says on each other before the result was released, and Firey succeeded in swaying the public's opinion. He literally won in a landslide. It wasn't close at all. Both characters would also have benefited to have the other in the worst position because, let's be honest, Battle for Dream Island was going to have more seasons, so they needed to create a lasting impact that ruined each character forever, and it's pretty safe to say that the finale did that, but not exactly how they expected. Firey pushed Leafy to a breaking point, and I find the way he did it pretty insidious. Framing Leafy as a monster, and someone who couldn't be trusted was very precise and intentional, since Leafy was the only character who had the supposed nice guy persona, which was actually quite easy to take down. The reason why this narrative worked so well is because he was feeding us a hunch that many people already had about Leafy, painting her in a light that many people already thought about. Another reason why Firey was able to slide his misery off at first is because he was the most unproblematic person. At one point, people literally only liked him because he was the least problematic contestant in the list of remaining characters. Another reason why it worked so well is because Firey set Leafy up to fail with his actions. He literally held a grudge against Leafy for one of the stupidest reasons ever, which is one of Leafy's biggest weaknesses: stupidity. I'm guessing she's a weakness of herself, and honestly, after pushing her to a breaking point, it made it seem like she was this disrespectful and manipulative person trying to prove otherwise. Not saying she isn't disrespectful and manipulative, but it was a low move to take. Nonetheless, it worked. All it took for people to start recontextualizing everything Leafy had done was a simple statement and action from Firey. Now, all of her relationships with other contestants were motivated by greed and being power-hungry, and all of these disgusting things. Firey did what he did knowing that it could send Leafy into a very dark place, and I think that's what he should be criticized for. And sure, he apologized, which is good, but it definitely doesn't make up for him being such a hypocrite. Another problem I had with all of this is that Firey and Leafy started a Battle for Dream Island chain reaction. Suddenly, all sorts of characters were setting out to find horrible things about their enemies, and it was just constant ramifications for other contestants' actions which caused the show to lose a lot of its meaning. Granted, Firey's master plan wasn't necessarily the first, but it definitely was the biggest, and that's how Firey managed to create a wave of new problems in Battle for Dream Island, while simultaneously proving superior. I just think it's interesting that Firey's actions and old mindset can come back whenever they want to. Like if he got bored, he could try to prove how Leafy was a horrible person again since they're stuck on a boat together. Not saying it would work, though, because we all hate Firey, and already know Leafy's a bad person, but whatever. Now, I want to give some opinions on the response that viewers had on this entire situation. Throughout all of the explanation, Leafy has been the main target for criticism for everything for some obvious reasons, but I think that Firey doesn't get the criticism he deserves. Let it be known that Firey is nowhere near as bad as Leafy or Bubble. Here's a recap. Bubble is a manipulative liar. She tricked everyone into believing that she was a completely different person than she actually was and faked her entire existence. Leafy is a problematic masterpiece with controversy stemming from her literal first words in Battle for Dream Island. On the other hand, Firey has done none of that. Granted, Leafy did manipulate many people into thinking that she was the nicest person, and she would never do anything to hurt anyone. But just because Leafy's bad doesn't mean Firey's good whatsoever. Pushing Leafy into a dark place and setting a trap for her to fail was very disgusting, and he should be held accountable for that, and not something random like being bland.
Bye.
We're finally in the last section of this series. It's kind of crazy that this series is ending. We've only had 3 episodes, but it feels like all I've done on Object-Sided for the past 6 months has been about this series. Right now, I just want to look at where this situation left everyone, and how people responded, not just to my video, but the situation altogether. Firstly, I want to look at the effect that the finale had on all 3 characters' reputation. The finale was obviously intended to make the characters go against each other, but all it did was make everyone hate them, so, not really a miss for Flower getting 4th place. Have you noticed that Flower made it far in the first season, but wasn't a finalist, and yet won the island? I think that's pretty weird, but it makes sense. She didn't have to face the pressure of being a finalist. You see, before everything, Bubble was known to be insecure, sad, and lonely, but now she's known as this habitual liar and a pissomaniac. It justifies everyone's actions to call her annoying. Leafy, on the other hand, absolutely got dunked after the finale. Before, she was known as nice and comedic with a splash of jerk, but after the finale, people realized that she was just all around horrible. Firey used to be known as being kind of immature and one-dimensional. Even before, Firey was just kind of talked about in a negative light for being just so boring. But after the finale, Firey's reputation was just tarnished, and nobody cared about him anymore. Not even me. All characters used to be legendary and the best, but now they're just Weasley and conniving. It's kind of sad to see characters I used to know and love just be tarnished by their own actions, but I guess it doesn't affect me, so who cares? What I've learned is that, oh my gosh, you cannot trust anyone whether they're real or just a cartoon fantasy character. So those were my videos on Bubble, Leafy, Firey, and the whole Battle for Dream Island finale. I just want to say thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. That's literally insane, and I know we'll double soon enough. Anyway, I've been putting a lot of time into these videos, and I hope it shows. I wouldn't normally do this, but I want to ask you to subscribe since this has taken me so long to make that it's kind of insane. If you all keep watching these videos, I'll keep making them. I don't know what the next series will be about, but I'm planning on uploading it relatively soon, so watch out for it. But what I've learned from all of this is that all you need to get ahead in object shows is to manipulate people. Be manipulative. You must be manipulative. But I'm going to go play Animal Crossing or do something that doesn't make me feel horrible. But what about you? Well, you should watch another video.